you on Facebook. All right, cool, cool. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Hopefully, you're doing well. Well, today is day number 2 of Kwanzaa, and hopefully, you have gotten out the Christmas jitters, and maybe you've already begun to return things. But wherever you are, hopefully, you're doing well. And special shout out to my folks on the East Coast and Midwest who are experiencing this crazy weather, man. Hopefully things will brighten up and get better for you. So hopefully, hopefully you can find some kind of positivity in the next few moments as we go live here and talk about day number 2 of Kwanzaa. So, man, it's just been wonderful around here with all the children back, the older 2 kids, just having a wonderful time. And, just to kind of put a beginning on this particular live stream today, just wanted to follow up and say yesterday we kind of talked about the first day of the first principle of Kwanzaa, which was unity. And, I just kind of failed to mention yesterday that we were definitely united a few days ago in terms of our Christmas dinner. We continue to practice some of the principles of Kwanzaa throughout the year. And definitely the past couple of days, the boys stepped in. And they help provide, help assistance with the meal that we had on our Christmas Day celebration. You talk about being united. One of my sons, he, was itching to get in the kitchen and cook something. One purchased some of the, meat. Grill Daddy just hopped on the grill and did what grill daddies do. We just grill it. So we're definitely over here in Riley World abiding by some of the principles of Kwanzaa, not only during the 7-day observation of Kwanzaa, but, the goal is to live through it 365 days of the year. So you just don't want to celebrate it the few days of Kwanzaa, but no, it's something that should be lived on through the whole year. And so just wanted to put a kind of book in on that unity principle from yesterday. And so today we're just going to hop into our principle for today, which is Kujichagulia. So go ahead and, I'll go ahead and respond by saying Habari Gani. And of course, if you're watching in the chat or if you're actually watching the replay, go ahead and drop in the principle for today, which is Kujichagulia. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and, let's light this candle in observance of today's Kwanzaa principle. All right, so there you have it. We just lit the candle, and go ahead and take some time if you want to share this particular live stream right now. We're live live from Riley World, and what I call my little studio gathering. So just so happy to produce this particular live stream and bring awareness and just maybe a reflection upon some of the principles as we leave 2022 and move into 2023. It's going to be a marvelous year, and it has been a marvelous year in 2022. And so we want to, be reflective of what's going to happen in the next few months. There's a lot of things that's going to happen, a lot of graduations, a lot of celebrations and things of that nature. And so, hopefully things will look up for you. I know now the holiday season, a lot of people are not with some of their loved ones. Maybe they've passed on, they've transitioned on. And so now's a kind of, a wonderful time to kind of reflect on their legacy, the lessons that they taught, that they taught us, and, make and create more memories so that you can leave a legacy of yourself as you continue to live. And so we're not just going to quietly go into 2023. We're going to definitely make a big impact and staying positive. And so one way to do that is we're looking at Kujichagulia, which means self-determination. And what I've been doing, or what I did last night, and what we'll do for the duration of our Kwanzaa observance is I'm just reading some of the excerpts from the book written by Dr. Karenga, who is the author and creator of Kwanzaa. The book entitled The African American Holiday of Kwanzaa. And so I'll just put it right up here so you guys can take a look at it and see it's in its entirety right there. So there it is right there. So there you go. It focused in. So this is the book that he created about Kwanzaa, and I see we have a couple of observers. So hello, LaJoy Morris. Thank you for tuning in and participating in the virtual Kwanzaa celebration. And so let's go ahead and hop into some of the thoughts that he penned, and we'll share some thoughts myself. So Kujichagulia, which means self-determination, man, it's a lot about being self-determined. And so as you can see, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. And it kind of goes back to the conversation that we had yesterday in terms of, being united, showing unity, and not allowing people to create for ourselves or put our images out there. We have to be very, very aware of who we are and begin to kind of define ourselves. And so this is kind of continuing on that same thought. So first thing he says, Dr. Karenga, and I'll just read this real quick. It's just a short couple of passages. He says, to answer the question of who am I correctly, then is to know and live one's history and practice one's culture. So you have to know who you are, definitely. You have to have an awareness about yourself, about how you want to move in the space that you're in with your family. And, some people kind of frown down on, on even recognizing their African past. Well, I wasn't born in Africa. I was born in, whatever said city, Alabama, or I was born in Los Angeles. I was born in Boise. It doesn't matter. If you're an African American, most likely you have ties to the motherland, as we call it. And, those of us with melanated skin, we know the struggle. And so going back to the conversation yesterday about, why U.S. history always begins with the enslavement. Yeah, that's part of the story. But there's a story that comes way before the enslavement, right? Those mighty kings of Africa and those African civilizations. So you have to know who you are. And so a lot of people frown down upon their African heritage. That wasn't me. I was born. No. If you're someone who's dark as I am, most likely, and you live in America, most likely you have ties to some African country. So you have to know who you are, and you have to kind of practice your own culture. To answer the question of am I really who I am is to have and employ a cultural criteria of authenticity, criteria of what is real and unreal, what is appearance and essence, what is culturally rooted and foreign. So that's, those are some definitely good ideas to kind of think about as you, begin to understand who you are. Who this right now is a time of reflection as you begin to close out this year. And so you want to have a good knowledge base, understanding of who you are. And again, you don't want anybody else to define who you are and what you can do. You want to define it for yourself. And then also he says, and to answer the question of who of am I all I ought to be is to self-consciously propose and use ethical and cultural standards which measure men, women, and children in terms of the quality of their thought and practice in the context of who they are and must become both African and in the human sense. And so you have to understand, who should you be? If you don't know who you should be, then you got to take some time to reflect. Maybe it's time for you to break out that journal and start writing about, who you want to be. A lot of people say, when I grow up, I want to be this, that, and the third. Well, now is the time. During this particular Kwanzaa celebration, take some time to figure out who you want to be. And you got to develop some kind of criteria. Just don't haplessly be, I'm just going to be the best teacher. I'm gonna be the best lawyer. Okay, well, what criteria is going to help you become the best teacher? What goals, what benchmarks, or what objectives are you going to use for yourself as you travel down that path? Because if you just say, I want to be the best teacher, and you don't have a roadmap to being the best teacher, then most likely it's not going to work. But you have to take some time right now to dig deep and figure out who you are and who you want to be. Not only as men, women. He's talking about all of humanity, all of our African American brothers and sisters, if you will, and not only African Americans. I mean, there's a whole world of folks who are celebrating Kwanzaa who are not African American, and so yes, it was created for the African Americans, just kind of get away from the commercialism of Christmas and everything. But no, there is something that everyone can take away from Kwanzaa. And so just a few more thoughts as we kind of move through understanding the principle of self-determination. Before I continue on, there's an old spiritual song that says, I'm determined to walk with Jesus. Yes, I am, through trials and tribulations. I'm determined. And so for me, if we just take out, you might not serve God or Jesus or whoever it might be. But through trials, through tribulations, how are you going to deal with those things when they pop up? Because they're going to pop up. Are you going to just succumb to the circumstance, or are you going to dig deep, right? And so for me, being a faith-based man, I'm gonna look at my God, and He's going to help me through whatever trials and tribulations that I'm going through. And so for you, what does that look like for you? Are you just going to sit there and just take it, right? Or are you going to, fight back? Are you going to do something to follow through on your journey? And then just one more thought that I thought was kind of important, especially to the Afrocentric side. It says the principle and practice of self-determination expresses and supports the concept of practice and Afrocentricity. Now, that's kind of deep, and I can see Dr. Karenga just giving his lectures and talking about Afrocentricity, and basically that's just really focused in on on the motherland and your culture, doing things that are not necessarily, and this is, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but just thinking about the African value system and what that holds. And so for us right now, we're in the space of, going through Kwanzaa. And so it is definitely rooted in African traditions. And so, yes, it is man-made, but there's value. There's value. There's so much value in being centered on your African self and just reflecting upon how far African Americans have come, and then how are you going to deal with your struggle? What is your struggle? Your struggle might be something completely different than Dr. Wood or Shanari or Cicely Brooks. We're all going to have different struggles, and so basically, how are you going to pull yourself through the struggles when they happen? Because they're going to happen. And so for me, you have to have some kind of game plan. And so being self-determined is more than just, hey, I am, I'm determined to get through. Like I said a few moments ago, you have to have a game plan. And if you don't have a game plan, then now's the time to figure out what you're going to do to get you through whatever it is you need to get through. And so let's go ahead and hop in some of the comments. I'm really not going to be too long today. Just wanted to hop in here. I'll probably do these pre-lunchtime virtual Kwanzaa celebrations. I already have it set up for 11:30 on Pacific Standard Time. And so wherever you are, if you want to hop in, that is perfectly fine. Let's go through some of the comments real quick. And let's see here. We have Cicely Brooks. What's going on, ma'am? Happy Kwanzaa. I know you're over there on the North Kakalaki side. Hopefully everything is well with you and Cairo and Chris and the fam. And I did see your post this morning, so congratulations. She's determined to be mom again. And so I don't want to put too much of your business out there, but congratulations, and just continue doing what you normally do. Cicely, I see my niece over here. She says, amen, happy Kwanzaa. I don't know what you're amening about, but hey, it's all good to see you on here, Shanari. And then she also says, this is awesome. Absolutely. Hey, we're just trying to give back, use this platform to kind of give back and understand who we are, and kind of go through some of the principles of the Nguzo Saba, which are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And then Maisha Riley says, who are you? Who are you? I know who I am, but yeah, definitely just going back to understanding who you are. And I'm sure she was commenting on the point that I was making a little bit earlier. Dr. Wood, good to see you on here. He says, West Side. That is normally my greeting when I hop on a live stream. I usually say West Side. Folks from the east side, they'll say east side, or, sometimes they'll just be like, hey, what's going on? But that's normally the way that I step into the room, the virtual space, and greet my people. So he's just reciprocating the favor. And then Dr. Wood is saying hi to Shanari and Maisha. And then Cicely says, so many holidays are man-made. So absolutely. Absolutely. So many holidays are man-made. You think about the holidays that we celebrate, right? The holidays and the observances, right? So, the first one to start off the year, Dr. King, that's a man-made holiday, right? And so, yeah, I kind of agree. All of these things are man-made. And so, I appreciate just the thought that Dr. Karenga went through to set up this kind of observance, helping, the people kind of get in touch with, who they are and what they want to be, and, think about their next steps as they move into the new year. Maisha says, hi, Dwayne. And then Whitwin says, Habari Gani, thank you for doing this virtual celebration. Absolutely. Thank you for participating. And, my goal, I really wanted to do something where I, showcased, some kind of artistic point. I just don't want to have me as a talking head talking on these videos. And so if you're interested in hopping on maybe for 10 or 15 minutes and just want to share some of your thoughts, just let me know. I do have a couple of scenes that we can put you in. And then I believe Maisha Riley is saying commercialism, sis. Absolutely. Commercialization of some of the, some of the holidays. It's crazy. Even now, I heard a shopper say a couple of days ago, I think it was on Christmas or day before Christmas Eve or Christmas, that stuff for Valentine's Day is already up in some of the stores. It's like you can't even wait you know, America is so commercially driven. It's like, okay, soon as one thing is over, we on to the next, right? Instead of just allowing us to kind of dwell in the space, right? So at the end of the year, no longer do you see any New Year's kind of displays at some of the stores and whatnot. Now they've already jumped over January, and so some stores have already set up, Valentine Day stuff. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Shanari says she loves this. And Cicely Brooks says, "Do you have a podcast yet?" Sorry if you do. I'm late to the party. Actually, I don't, Cicely. This is kind of, the space that I'm living in right now. I'm really enjoying this space and really trying to maximize just the potential of doing this kind of producing this kind of show. But yeah, maybe down the line I can figure out how to, actually this can't be, I could use this to create a podcast, and so I can take the audio version and create something. But for me, there'd have to be an interest, and so yeah, I could turn some of these Kwanzaa discussions into an actual podcast. And so if you're interested, she says, but this totally could be, you know what? I totally agree with you, Cicely. It's just for me because I'm not doing this full time. I'm taking time, out of the holiday family time to produce this. But there's a lot that goes into creating a live stream. Podcast. And so, yeah, I could definitely see the value, but also would, have to have those listeners to, if they find value in the content that I'm bringing, then, hey, we can make that happen. And I appreciate you, just putting it out there in terms of, encouraging a brother to use his gift. Dr. Wood says his podcast is coming. I'm speaking it into existence. Okay. Absolutely. But you know what? A podcast would not be a podcast if I did not have folks to hop on and discuss certain things. And so, like, again, I'm going to put it out there. If you're more than willing to hop on, and let me just show you what I'm talking about right now. Some of you guys were like, well, Mr. Riley, what are you talking about? Well, I have several scenes, and I have a setup right here for a guest. I have a Kwanzaa guest of the day. So if you think you might want to hop on and just kind of share some of your experiences with Kwanzaa. Now, I know a couple of years ago, Cicely Brooks and my family and some of our friends, we had a wonderful time, celebrating Kwanzaa. But yeah, if you're interested in hopping on, man, just let me know. We can make you come on or not make you. We can extend an invitation for you to hop on. And participate in this wonderful celebration. A few more comments here. Cicely Brooks is saying podcasts can be pre-recorded. Absolutely, they can be. It does not have to. And I have this. I have the software here. The same software that I'm using right now is the one that I could use to produce my particular podcast. And since we're here in this space right now, let's just go ahead and call of action. If you're interested in knowing what am I doing, how am I doing everything, well, you can run over to Ecamm Live, which is a streaming software. And if you're into streaming, this is definitely the way to go. They've made some major upgrades in their software, their platform, and so I'm actually using the beta version right now, which is wonderful. It allows me to multicast to several different places like Facebook, YouTube. I can also go to Twitter. I can use this on a IG Live. And so if you're interested in knowing how to use, or, you just want to know how to live stream, go ahead and go over to this link, mrrileysworld.live/eCam J Riley, and there's a 15-day trial. And then if you decide to purchase, that'll be cool as well. So just a shout out to those of you who are watching. And you know what? Yesterday, just to kind of book in and kind of, close up a little bit. Yesterday, I kind of read a part of a story, and then my wife gave me some wonderful feedback. She's like, Mr. Riley, we really couldn't see the pages of the book that you were reading, and we couldn't see you. And so what I'm going to do in a few moments after I go through some of these comments, I'm going to read another excerpt of one of my favorite Kwanzaa stories, and we'll go from there. So let's dig into the comments one more time. And Dr. Wood says, no Kwanzaa experience, but I can always talk. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and then Cecily says, and so it's done. Podcast coming soon, y'all. Oh, Cecily. Riley's going to be kind of mad at you now because that means I just have to spend more time in the studio creating content. So we'll figure that out. I appreciate the vote of confidence over there on the east side. So let's go ahead and let's pick up the story. Yesterday we began reading this story entitled. Let's see if I can go there. Entitled 7 Candles for Kwanzaa. Written by Andrea Davis Pinkney and Brian Pinkney, which is a wonderful, wonderful story. And so I'm going to attempt to continue to reading. My wonderful wife said we couldn't see the pages or we couldn't see you. So maybe this can kind of help out in the meantime. So yesterday we read about this particular family. They're getting ready for their Kwanzaa celebration. And so we read the first 4 pages yesterday. Maybe we'll read several pages today. And then, I'm looking for a guest. So be thinking about it. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in being a guest or just kind of talking about the next principle for tomorrow. But let's go ahead and read a few pages of this particular story. 7 Candles for Kwanzaa. 7 candles are proudly placed in our kinara, a wooden candle holder. A black candle in the center represents the richness of our skin. The 3 red candles are reminders of the struggle we sometimes have to face. The green candles tell us always look forward to a prosperous future. And that's one thing, that's one thing about the Kwanzaa celebration. It's full of symbols. And so just the colors, ordinarily I would have my Kwanzaa set up behind me, my Kinara, but I have a virtual, and you guys can see it kind of behind me. But these symbols are definitely on point. And I love, the black, the red, and the green because, there's symbols and colors, and everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. And so this is one observance. This is one holiday that is pretty dope, right? Everything that is, it has a meaning. For each day of Kwanzaa, one candle is lightened to celebrate a special principle. The 7 Kwanzaa principles, called the Nguzo Saba, come from the beliefs that are held by families in many parts of Africa. These beliefs help us learn, achieve, and grow. All righty, so here we go. And you can see the family sitting down right there, dad talking. So let's go ahead. And of course, we've covered the first day of Kwanzaa yesterday. So for some of us, this is just a reflection of what we did yesterday. So here we go. On the first day of Kwanzaa, the black candle is set alight to celebrate Umoja. Umoja means unity. For Umoja, our family gathers at home. We share thoughts and feelings about Kwanzaa holiday and relax in the spirit of togetherness. We talk, we laugh, and ask Habari Gani. Habari Gani is a Kwanzaa greeting that means, what is the news? It is what we say to start each Kwanzaa day. When someone asks Habari Gani, we answer by telling about the Kwanzaa principle for that day. And there you go. You see a nice family discussing maybe the principle of the day. All right, we'll stop at this page right here. If someone asks Habari Gani on the second day of Kwanzaa, the answer is Kujichagulia, Kujichagulia, which means self-determination. A red candle is lit to represent Kujichagulia. This is the day to learn traditions that help us define ourselves. In some families, women teach girls to braid their own hair in fancy styles. In others, folks learn about African rhythms and on drums and gourds. And so you see the mom right there braiding her daughter's hair. And so we'll stop right there. We'll pick up with it tomorrow. But yeah, Kujichagulia is one of my favorite principles. I just love saying that word, Kujichagulia, Kujichagulia. So Definitely a wonderful story. And this will be a great way to introduce for those of you who have not heard about Kwanzaa. This will be a wonderful way to introduce the idea of Kwanzaa to your young people in your life. And so tomorrow we'll continue with this story, and hopefully you found some value in the story. Hopefully you found some value in some of the things that I had to say as it relates to Kujichagulia, which means self-determination, on day 2 of Kwanzaa. So other than that, I'm looking forward to bringing someone on, and so maybe tomorrow we'll come back and we'll celebrate Ujima. We'll come back and celebrate that, which is collective work and responsibility. All right. So other than that, guys, I really appreciate you hopping on, participating, dropping some comments in. Dropping comments in the broadcast there, and again, feel free to share. We'll come back tomorrow around 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, and we'll do another version, and we'll read an excerpt from the Kwanzaa book. We'll read a story, and we'll dig and ask, and I have to maybe volunteer somebody to hop on so that we can maybe have a conversation about Kwanzaa and just the implications in that person's life. But yeah, so we'll come back tomorrow, and I really appreciate you watching. This is Mr. Riley signing off from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow.